Good morning. In last lecture, we have studied the Planck's radiation law. Today, we will see the Compton effect. When X-rays fall on matter, a part is scattered without any change in wavelength. This is known as unmodified or coherent scattering or classical scattering. In 1922, Compton, using Bragg's crystal spectrometer, discovered that in addition to classical scattering, in which the wavelength of X rays remains unchanged, the secondary radiation contains X rays of lower frequency or longer wavelength than those of the incident beam. This is known as modified or incoherent scattering. The phenomenon is known as Compton effect. In such a case, an electron is also ejected with an energy depending upon its direction. The electron is also known as Compton electron or recoil electron. Again, I will explain the Compton effect. Professor A. H. Compton discovered that when X-rays of a sharply defined frequency were incident on a material of low atomic number like carbon, then they suffered a change of frequency scattering. The scattered beam contains two wavelengths in addition to the expected incident wavelength. There exists a line of a longer wavelength. The change of wavelength is due to loss of energy of incident X-ray. This elastic interaction is known as Compton effect. The Compton effect clearly shows the particle-like nature of electromagnetic radiation. Not only a precise quantum of energy h nu can be assigned to a photon, but also precise quantum of momentum h nu upon c is equal to h by lambda. The total momentum of monochromatic radiation cannot have any value but is only an exact multiple of the linear momentum of a single photon. Or we can also say the momentum as well as the energy of the electromagnetic radiation is quantized. Now we will see Compton effect in detail. Professor A. H. Compton discovered that when X-rays of high frequency were incident on a material of low atomic number like carbon, then they suffered a change of frequency and scattering. The scattered beam contains two wavelengths in addition to the expected incident wavelength. There exists a line of a longer wavelength, means the shorter frequency. Already I told you the change of wavelength is due to the loss of energy of the incident X-ray. This elastic interaction is known as Compton effect. When scattering is going on, then there is one important electron plays the important role. This electron is known as recoil electron or Compton electron. In this case, the electron is also ejected with an energy depending upon its direction, and such an electron is known as Compton electron or recoil electron. The Compton effect is based on the assumptions. These assumptions are: the X-rays of frequency nu consist of photon of energy and momentum h by lambda is equal to h nu by c. Here h is the Planck's constant, lambda is wavelength and c is velocity of light. The electrons are assumed to be free and stationary because the binding energy of the electron to the atom is the order of 10 electron volt, which is very small as compared to energy of X-ray photon, which is of the order of 10 kilo electron volt. The kinetic energy of the electron being of the same order as the binding energy, it is comparatively at rest. This is second assumption of the Compton. Also there is the third assumption. It gives the collision between the high energy photon and the electron is elastic. The energy and momentum carried by the scattered photon and recoil electron is governed by the laws of conservation of energy and momentum. Already we know that, friends, the laws of conservation of energy and momentum explain us the energy cannot be created nor be destroyed, it remains constant. Now we will see figure of Compton scattering. In Compton scattering, the photon is incident on the low atomic number material such as carbon. In this figure, the photon is incident at the center part. At the center, there is the low atomic number material is placed. When the photon is incident, having the energy is h nu and momentum is equal to h nu upon c. Now, here the electron is at rest position having the energy is m0 c square and momentum is 0 before incident the photon on it. In the right hand side of the figure, there are the two positions are shown. At the upper direction, the recoil electron takes place the position having the momentum is mv and it makes an angle theta. Also, at the downward side, there is scattered photon is located and having the momentum p dash is equal to h nu dash upon c and energy E is equal to h nu dash. It makes an angle phi. Here the recoil electron is the ejected electron when the collision is occur between the incident photon and the target electron. Again we will see the Compton effect experimental work. Suppose an X-ray photon of frequency nu and energy h nu collides with an electron supposed to be at rest in the target. Then a part of its energy is imparted to the electron which is ejected with a velocity v in a direction making an angle theta with that of the incident X-ray photon. The remaining energy is given out as a scattered X-ray photon of lower frequency nu dash moving in a direction making an angle phi with that of the incident photon. If m0 is the rest mass of the electron, then while moving with a velocity v. According to the theory of relativity, we can write its mass m is equal to m0 divided by under root of 1 minus v square upon c square. Here v is the velocity of the moving electron and c is the velocity of the light, and m0 is the rest mass of the electron. In this case, the energy of the photon is transferred to the electron, and hence applying the principle of conservation of energy, we can write down h nu, that is the energy of the photon, plus m0 c square energy of the electron is equal to h nu dash plus mc square. Or we can rearrange the equation, then mc square is equal to h nu minus nu dash plus m0 c square. Because h nu is equal to h nu dash, hence we have to rearrange here and write down mc square is equal to h nu minus nu dash plus m0 c square. Squaring above equation, we get m square c raised to 4 is equal to h square inside the bracket nu square minus 2 nu dash plus nu dash square plus 2h nu minus nu dash m0 c square plus m0 square c raised to 4. Equation 1. Applying the principle of conservation of momentum, we have the direction of the incident photon, that is along x-axis. Hence, we can write h nu upon c is equal to h nu dash upon c cos of phi plus mv cos of theta. Multiply this equation by c, we get h nu upon c into c is equal to h nu dash upon c into c cos of theta phi plus mvc cos of theta. Here cc get cancelled, and rearranging the equation, mvc cos of theta is equal to h nu minus nu dash cos of phi. Equation 2. In a direction perpendicular to the direction of the incident photon, that is along y-axis, we can write 0 is equal to h nu dash upon c sin of phi minus mv sin of theta. Multiply this equation by c, and rearranging, we can write h nu dash upon c into c get cancelled, so that mvc sin of theta is equal to h nu dash sin of phi. Equation 3. Squaring equation 2 and 3 and adding, we get equation 2 square is m square v square c square cos square theta is equal to h square inside the bracket nu square minus 2 nu dash cos of phi plus nu dash square cos square phi. Then m square v square c square cos square phi is equal to h square nu square minus 2h square nu dash cos of phi plus h square nu dash square cos square phi. And the equation 3 square can be written as m square v square c square sin square theta is equal to h square nu dash square sin square phi. Then m square v square c square is equal to h square inside the bracket nu square minus 2 nu dash cos of phi plus nu dash square cos square phi plus nu dash square sin square phi. Here sin square phi plus cos square phi is equal to 1, and hence the equation can be written like that. Or m square v square c square is equal to h square inside the bracket nu square minus 2 nu dash cos phi plus nu dash square. Equation 4. Subtracting equation 4 from equation 1, we can write m square c square inside the bracket c square minus v square is equal to minus 2 nu dash h square inside the bracket 1 minus cos of phi plus 2h inside the bracket nu minus nu dash bracket complete m0 c square plus m0 square c raised to 4. Here by mistake 2 is again written, but that is c raised to 4. M square c square inside the bracket c square minus v square is equal to minus 2 nu dash h square inside the bracket 1 minus cos of phi plus 2h inside the bracket nu minus nu dash m0 c square plus m0 square c raised to 4. Or rearranging the equation m0 c square divided by 1 minus v square upon c square into c square minus v square is equal to m0 square c raised to 4 plus 2h nu minus nu dash m0 c square minus 2 nu dash h square 1 minus cos of phi. Or 2h nu minus nu dash m0 c square minus 2 nu dash h square 1 minus cos of phi. Or nu minus nu dash upon nu dash is equal to h 1 minus cos of phi upon m0 c square. Or 1 upon nu dash minus 1 upon nu is equal to h 1 minus cos of phi upon m0 c square. But nu is equal to c by lambda, or 1 upon nu is equal to lambda by c. Then lambda dash upon c minus lambda by c is equal to h 1 minus cos of phi upon m0 c square. Multiply this equation by c on both sides. We can write c into lambda dash upon c minus c into lambda by c is equal to c into h 1 minus cos of phi upon m0 c square. C get cancelled, so that lambda dash minus c is equal to h 1 minus cos of phi upon m0. C and c get cancelled, c square and c get cancelled, so that m0 c. Then the equation is lambda dash minus lambda is equal to h 1 minus cos of phi upon m0 c. Here lambda dash minus lambda is equal to change in wavelength. Change in wavelength can be written as d lambda, that is equal to h inside the bracket 1 minus cos of phi upon m0 c. Equation 5. Obviously d lambda depends on angle of scattering, and it is independent of the wavelength of the incident radiations as well as nature of the scattering substance. This d lambda is also called as Compton shift. Compton wavelength is a constant quantity, and that is equal to 0.0242 angstrom in it. It is a Compton shift for an angle of scattering phi is equal to 90 degree. Compton shift is a variable quantity that is depending upon the angle of scattering. Already I have told you. When phi is equal to 0, then d lambda is equal to 0, and when phi is equal to 90 degree, then d lambda is equal to 0.0242. This is the Compton shift when the angle phi is equal to 90 degree, calculated for various angles also.